You are no longer my daughter. Fear. After year one in the university, Ezinne gave birth to a dog. Young girls, be wise. Welcome to Ideka Stories.
Welcome to Ideka channel. This is how it all began. Ezinne stood before the large gates of Greenfield University, a mixture of excitement and nervousness bubbling in her chest. This was it, her first step into a bright future. She had always been the pride of her family, the brilliant daughter of a strict, God-fearing mother and a hardworking father who had sacrificed so much to see her through school. Her dreams were big, her focus sharp. She would graduate with honors, get a good job, and lift her family out of poverty. She remembered the last few words of her parents, especially that of her father.
Easy, Mama. Remember the daughter of whom you are. Excellent grades is good. Excellent grades with dignity is better still. But excellent grades with dignity plus fear of God is the best. Excellent grades with dignity. Yeah. I'll try.
Ezinne said to herself as she moved into her new hostel with her bags. But the university was a different world. The first few weeks were tough. She felt like a small fish in a vast ocean, surrounded by students from wealthier backgrounds who wore designer clothes, drove flashy cars, and carried the latest gadgets. Ezinne, on the other hand, had come with a second-hand phone and a suitcase filled with thrift store clothes. She had no intention of making friends until she met Cynthia. Cynthia was everything Ezinne wasn't: bold, confident, and dripping with luxury. She had the latest iPhone, wore designer heels, and always had money to throw around. Everyone admired her, and Ezinne couldn't understand why such a wealthy girl would take an interest in her.
Babe, why are you suffering?
Cynthia asked one evening, stretching lazily on her bed in the hostel.
University life is not meant for stress. Look at me. I used to be like you. But I realized that intelligence alone wouldn't help me enjoy life.
Ezinne hesitated.
But how? I don't want to do anything bad,
she said cautiously. Cynthia chuckled, shaking her head.
Bad? Please. We are just smart. Do you see all these boys making money? Do you think it's just hustle? There are ways, my dear. And you don't even have to lose anything. You remain a virgin untouched, and you will walk away with $500,000 in just one night.
$500,000, that is, 500,000 naira just in one night. The number played in Ezinne's mind like a song. That was more than her father's entire savings. Her mother had struggled to pay her fees that semester. She wanted to say no, but the temptation grew.
Are you sure I wouldn't lose anything?
Ezinne asked, her voice small. Cynthia smiled, sensing victory.
Trust me, babe. Just come with me. Let me introduce you to someone.
Then, enter Frank, the young boy with the cool cash in the campus. Cynthia introduced her to Frank, a man who exuded power and wealth. He was young, handsome, and had an intimidating aura. His apartment was nothing like Ezinne had ever seen: gold-trimmed furniture, exotic artwork, and a faint scent of expensive cologne in the air. Frank treated her like a queen. He gave her gifts, showered her with attention, and made her feel special. The one that blew Ezinne's mind the most was that Frank reserved the front seat of his car for her. He said that it was for his queen, Ezinne. This swayed her head and made her fall completely for Frank. Again, Ezinne had told Frank that she was still a virgin and she had no intention of losing it to marriage. Frank promised with a cross of hands that he won't touch her till their wedding night, and this he has kept. One evening, after Ezinne and Frank returned from an outing, he leaned in close and whispered,
I have a special business, babe. A very simple one. And I think you're the perfect candidate.
Ezinne looked at him with weary eyes. She was still in the euphoria of the evening outing. Frank had swept her feet the more and made her love him the more. He hired a special spot for their outing with special decoration with roses. The entrance wrote, "With my queen, alone, my queen forever. Ezinne was smiling through the outing. Frank is really a king to make the kingdom with. He was tall, fair, well-built and smelt wealth.
What kind of business?
Frank smiled.
One night, that's all. You still be a virgin. Just a simple ritual and your life will change forever like mine.
Ezinne frowned.
A ritual
Frank held her hand, his grip tight.
is nothing serious. Just a spiritual alignment for wealth. The richest men you see have done this. Everyone, those you see with money, they have done it. Do it and you will never suffer again, my babe. I will give you $500,000 to go with tomorrow after doing the ritual with me. I really want to change your life, babe. I love you so much and I want you to become wealthy just like myself.
Frank kept sweet-tonguing her. Doubt clouded Ezinne's mind, but then she thought about the money.
$500,000 just in one night and more wealth afterwards.
But her mother had once told her, nothing in this world is free, my daughter. Beware of easy riches. She thought about her mother's words. But Cynthia's lifestyle has proven her mother's words lies. She got everything in life for free and she is living well and better, Ezinne thought. Ezinne agreed for the rituals with her lover, Frank, and returned to his apartment the next night for it. Frank's house was eerily quiet that night. The air was heavy, thick with an unexplainable presence. Ezinne's heartbeat pounded in her ears as she was led into a dimly lit room. Candles flickered against the dark walls, casting strange shadows. Then, she saw it. A massive, black dog with glowing red eyes stood in the center of the room. Ezinne's breath caught in her throat.
What is this?
She whispered, her voice barely audible. Frank squeezed her shoulders gently.
This is the spirit of wealth. This dog is not ordinary. He carries a power that will change your life. Just do as we say, and you will be richer than your dreams.
Ezinne tried to step back, but Cynthia blocked her path.
Ezinne, don't be stupid. This is the final step. You are too deep in to go back now. I have done it too. Do it and be rich.
Cynthia lied. Fear gripped Ezinne.
I can't do this.
Frank's expression darkened.
Then leave. But don't come back to me begging and crying when you see us driving the latest cars while you are struggling to pay school fees. Don't come back and ask me for money for your fees.
Ezinne's mind swirled with conflict. $500,000, just one night. With trembling lips, she gave in. That night, she lost something far greater than her dignity. Her long-preserved dignity was taken by an animal, not even by a fellow human. The dog was no different than a man. If Ezinne did not see the face of the dog while she bended for it to climb, she would have sworn it was a human. The dog's rod was so big and strong that it tore through her and made her bleed. It was a painful ritual, as Frank and Cynthia called it. The dog lasted on her for over 40 minutes before letting out a mourning cry. It was a cry of ecstasy. The dog released into her and Frank came to take it away. Ezinne was not aware of everything that happened that. She passed out halfway when she could not bear the pains and the fear from the dog's ride. When she woke up, it was around 5 a.m. in the morning. Neither Frank, Cynthia nor the dog was seen. She saw a slack of new money by her side. She guessed it was the $500,000 and she took the money and ran back to her hostel. Days passed. Then weeks. Ezinne remained the way she was in her financial status. The money, the promised wealth, never came. In fact, she has blown the $500,000 given to her. She bought an expensive phone and clothes with it, hoping to get more money as promised. Instead, Ezinne fell sick. Her body ached. Her skin turned pale. She could hear faint growls in her sleep. Shadows followed her in the dark. She noticed too that the shape of her stomach has changed. The rumor soon spread in the campus, Ezinne is pregnant. but she has been to the hospital several times. There was no sign of pregnancy, yet her stomach was protruding and a movement felt in her stomach. Ezinne refused to go home to her parents. Fear won't let her father would disown her. One night, Ezinne woke up to a sharp, unbearable pain in her stomach. It felt like her insides were being ripped apart, as if she was a labor. She clutched her belly, screaming. Suddenly, her stomach bulged unnaturally fast. It was impossible. It made no sense. Her stomach grew like that of 9 months old pregnancy. Ezinne screamed again at the top of her voice. The pain was unbearable. And then, something inhuman tore out of her. A dog. Ezinne gave birth to a dog. Not a puppy. A full-grown, demonic dog with glowing red eyes. Exactly like the dog she slept with in Frank's house. The demonic black dog stood before her, growling lowly, its eyes piercing into her soul. Ezinne's screams shattered the silence of the hostel and she fainted. Her roommates ran in, and what they saw made them faint. The university exploded with the news. A girl gave birth to a dog. Her parents were called. Her mother collapsed upon seeing her. Her father refused to look at her.
You are no longer my daughter. Fear.
He spat, his voice filled with disgust. Cynthia had disappeared. Frank was nowhere to be found. Ezinne had traded her future for a nightmare that would never end. Ezinne's story is a warning to all university girls, especially the JAMBites and freshers. Young girls, be wise. Not all that glitters is gold.